and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
And let them know that if North Dakota ever approved same-sex marriages, I would not be comfortable doing them.
A county official in Grafton, North Dakota, has declined to abide by a federal court mandate to issue marriage licenses for same-sex couples. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
However, County Recorder Diane Link has found a solution to legally abide by her own opposition to same-sex marriages. Valley News Team's Neil Carlson shows us what's happened with this controversial issue in Grafton.
Some of the duties of a county recorder include processing marriage licenses. And now that also means processing marriage licenses for same-sex couples. But here in Walsh County, County Recorder Diane Link has said no.
2 years ago, I met with the board during my budget review, which is normally the only time that I really meet with them, and let them know that if North Dakota ever approved same-sex marriages, I would not be comfortable doing them.
Link spent 4 years in the Navy after graduating from high school in Grafton. She's raised a family and has spent 30 years in the county recorder's office. She calls herself a Christian who cannot condone same-sex marriages.
You're willing to say you're Christian. You didn't say which denomination, but it's basically your religious belief.
Right, religious and moral belief.
Link says this whole issue is about the Supreme Court trampling states' rights. However, she says she knows all about gay rights. She has gay members in her own family.
I realize they have the legal right, and I understand and accept that, but I'm not comfortable to be marriages between a man and a woman.
Link says a solution to her moral dilemma was found. State law allows her to turn over the marriage license duties to her deputy recorder.
We had her at our last meeting, and she said she would do it, and it just, it's something that we got to do. We weren't looking forward to doing it or anything else, but to be in compliance as a county and offer the residents of the county a chance to get a license, we had to do it.
Whatever your stand on same-sex marriages, they've legally worked out a solution to one woman's moral dilemma. In Grafton, North Dakota, Neil Carlson, Valley News Live.
So far, Walsh County has not had any requests for same-sex marriage licenses. Link says 2 other counties in western North Dakota have also accommodated county recorders who have beliefs similar to hers.
A local First Amendment attorney says there's nothing wrong with people taking pictures in public. He disagrees with many parents being upset over people snapping photos of their kids. Outraged moms and dads have been posting on social media saying, watch out for a man taking pictures of your kids at Fargo's Island Park pool. Police did question 37-year-old Kirk Ludwig, but found he didn't do anything criminally by taking the pictures. He has, however, been banned from Fargo public parks. Attorney Willie Kirshner says this is an attempt to limit the constitutional rights that people have to take pictures of things in public.
You can tell them, I'd like you to stop doing that. You can turn your back to them. If all these parents are so worried, they can try and stand between the man with the camera and their children. But why should your children be afraid? Why are we teaching our children to be afraid?
We talked to Ludwig today, but he did not want to comment.
Well, to our weather now, a little or no wind. It's been pretty steamy out there, but we're looking at our skies and there have been some storms, even tornado warnings earlier. Let's talk to Hutch to see what's going on right now. Hutch?
Thanks so much, Stephanie. Heading into the evening hours, we do have strong thunderstorms mainly in our northern counties, north of Interstate 94, north of Highway 10. Some of these storms have been severe, some of them rotating and producing funnel clouds across the valley. The strongest storm is the one making its way through the Grafton area and over Minto. This one's still capable of some sizable hail, up to around 3/4 of an inch or an inch in diameter. As it moves southeast, it's only moving at about 15 miles per hour, so it will be near Oslo by 7 o'clock, rather slow and heavy rain. Little bit of a development going on near Northwood and just off to the west of Grand Forks. We also have storms converging on Thief River Falls and Newfoldland, and a second round of storms for you. This is the area where the tornado warning was earlier. Those storms have lost some of their spin. Lakes Country, Becker County from the DL area to Heideland Lake, seeing some thunderstorms. They are non-severe a little bit, and parts of Cass County starting to try to fire up as well. We're keeping our eyes on the skies. Sweltering heat continues. Dark clouds will continue. Yes, we have a chance of thunderstorms here in the FM area, and I'll have hour-by-hour details on what you can expect as we head through the rest of our work week coming up here in just a few moments.
They just seem to pop up out of nowhere, too.
With this heat and humidity, a lot of things can happen.
Okay.
So
thanks, Hutch.
Keeps us busy.
It does.
Yep.
Well, 2 pools of mosquitoes collected today in Grand Forks have tested positive for the West Nile virus. And North Dakota has its first human case confirmed for the year in McLean County. The cities of Grand Forks and East Grand Forks are urging people to take extra precaution to avoid being bitten by mosquitoes. The mosquito most common for transmitting West Nile virus is Culex tarsalis. This mosquito is most active just before sundown and throughout the night into the early morning hours. Well, coming up on Valley News Live 10 at 10, we'll have more on what you don't know about this virus and what precaution measures you should take. And the Minnesota Department of Health tells us today 11 people from Minnesota are being monitored for possible exposure to Ebola. 10 of those are categorized as low risk, meaning that they were in an area where Ebola transmission occurred in the last 21 days, but did not have direct exposure to an infected person. Now, the other person is listed at some risk, which is defined as engaging in direct patient care where Ebola transmission had occurred, having close contact with an infected person.
2 felony charges, tens of thousands of dollars in damage, and an arrest warrant issued for a woman accused of trashing an apartment.
It's the latest in the continuing story of a bad tenant and an apartment owner with his hands tied by the law. Valley News Team's Bradford Eric was there when the woman got evicted and in court this morning when she failed to show up.
Police want your help finding this woman, Anissa Abdi Abdul. She was supposed to appear in court on numerous charges, but the room was silent when the judge called her name. And now she's wanted.
I thought that she probably wouldn't show up, just in dealing with her in the past.
Mark Cleveguard owns the apartment building that he says Abdul trashed last month. Look at this damage. Holes in walls, sheetrock ripped off, and a window shattered. All because Abdul allegedly did not want to pay the rent.
I turned in $13,600 just within the apartment.
Cleveguard is still ticked off that the law prevented him from stopping her.
I had no rights to go in and stop her when she was wrecking my apartment and my building, but I do have the right for a small claims court and a criminal hearing to make sure we follow through and she gets her, what's coming to her just penalty.
We now also know more about Anissa Abdul's past. She may have taught your kids. Payment ledgers online show Abdul being paid by West Fargo Public Schools. District officials say she was a substitute teacher last November. Court records reveal a number of previous tickets and convictions, including several for disorderly conduct. If you know where Abdul is, you're asked to call the police.
I'm just following through to make sure that she gets her just penalty.
As for Mark Cleveguard, he's still left literally picking up the pieces. Bradford Eric, Valley News Live.
Now, Abdul had previously posted a $400 bail, but since she failed to show up today, that was forfeited and revoked. She'll have to post bail again the next time that she's taken into custody. And according to Cleveguard, this is not the first time that Abdul has done something like this.
Big news today on the international scene as Iran, the United States, and 5 other countries have reached a deal that should halt Iran's ability to get a nuclear weapon. Here's how it's supposed to work. Iran will have to get rid of 98% of its nuclear stockpile, reducing its current ability to create 10 weapons to only a fraction of one. If Iran cheats, negotiators say all bets are off. Congress has 60 days to review the bill. Democrats and Republicans alike are skeptical, but the president says he will veto any denial of the deal. Congress would need a 2/3 majority to override the veto.
More and more people are falling victim to data breaches and don't know what steps to take after they find out. Last week, we told you the North Dakota Workforce Safety and Insurance server was hacked. The company handles workman's comp in the state. More than 50,000 WSI reports, including names, social security numbers, and other sensitive information were breached. A local financial counselor says people should first look into if identity protection service is being offered and realize the importance of what information was hacked.
Well, the debit card, you could put a stop on just the debit card, and then that would probably be the end of the issue. Whenever you're dealing with social security numbers and dates of birth, that's more information that makes it easier to open different types of accounts. It's harder to stop that.
Killebrew also recommends people check their credit report multiple times a year for any unusual activity.
The owner of a longtime store in downtown Fargo tells us a lack of business is prompting his doors to close. Metro Drug at 123 North Broadway has posted a sign on the door explaining the timeline of closure, what will happen with people's prescriptions. The notice explains that they will officially be closing on July 30th. At that time, prescription records will be transferred to Medical Pharmacy at the Professional Building located at 100 South 4th Street.
Well, later at 6 o'clock, North Dakota is tops in honey production. What's being done at NDSU to make sure the bees are in tip-top shape?
Thunderstorms producing heavy rain, lightning, some sizable hail for some. I'll have hour-by-hour details on what you can expect in your forecast coming up next.